Good morning, guys. Welcome to Tracie's Place. This morning I am making some good old Southern grits, some good old Mississippi Southern grits. This is the way my mother makes her grits, and every time somebody from out of town came, they thought she had the best grits. So, what you do, this is 6 cups of water and 1.5 sticks of margarine. You may use butter. I know some people are picky about that, so that is fine. You can use margarine or butter, whichever you prefer. Butter is a little bit healthier. But this is 6 cups of water, a stick and a half of margarine, and then you want to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. It's very important that you salt your water or you will have very bland tasting grits. So you want to get the salt cooked in while the grits are cooking. It tastes much better. And then after that you can go from there as far as, adding more salt if you want to. So let that come to a boil and I'll be back. Okay, I'm adding in the grits now. All right, I just added in 1 3/4 cup of grits. And now I'm adding the milk. And you must do this right after it starts back boiling. The grits are the most important part. I just added 1 cup of milk. And that's 2%. You can use any kind you want, but I think 2% is best. But like I said, whatever you have, it'll still turn out good. We use 2%. I'll put it that way. We use 2% milk, so. And it'll be not lumpy, but you may find a couple of lumps and you just want to smash those out. But you want to keep stirring. You want the grits to be loose. You don't want them to clump up. So keep stirring. I have an electric stove, so I'm going to go ahead and turn mine down. I initially had it on high when I, had everything to boil together and added the grits and the milk. But now that the grits and milk are added, I am going to turn it down to about 4. So that's like, 4.5. That's about medium. I'm going to keep on stirring. If you didn't turn down your eye, and you still do this on a gas stove, but I'm doing it a little early because on an electric, even though you keep your, even though you turn down the eye, it's still super hot. But on a gas stove, when you turn it down, it's going to turn down immediately because the fire is going down immediately. But on the electric stove, it's still real hot. So that's the point where I turn my eye down. It's still on the gas stove. You still do it at the same time. We just don't want it boiling and popping everywhere. That's why we turn it down. So you're going to stir and stir, just so that they stay loose. So at this point, still popping a little bit too much. I'm going to turn it down to 3.5. And I'm going to get a top to place on there so that, they don't pop everywhere on the stove. Also at this point, taste your grits. They were not salty enough. So I am adding, I guess that's about 3/4 of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I see they're still bubbling like crazy and popping out. So I got my top ready. So I'm going to let those go for a little bit. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I tasted my grits again. And they need more salt. So put a 1/2 teaspoon in. And you want to get your salt in before the grits become too, they're popping still, before they get too thick. That way the seasoning, the salt soaks into the grits. So get that stirred in. All right, I'm gonna top those up and I'll be back. Also, you're gonna go ahead and turn your eye down to low right now because the grits have thickened, and you're gonna go ahead and turn it down to low. And that way they're just going to simmer and they're going to thicken up and become nice and creamy. And that's the object of these grits, the southern grits, is that they become creamy. I cannot stand a gritty grit. I know that sounds funny. Some people like their grits, you know, gritty. I like smooth grits. So, all right, be back. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Excuse the messy stove, but it gets messy at breakfast time. I made some sausage and the grits. If you can't, electric stove is hardest to cook on with grits and things that pop. Your gas stove will be much easier, but the grits, sometimes they can pop everywhere if you don't stay in control of the temperature. So anyway, it's been 5 minutes, and this is what the grits look like at this time. Nice and creamy, but we still have a little ways to go. So I'm adding 1/4 cup of water just because we have more cooking time. If I let them cook longer and didn't kind of loosen them up a little, they'd be, you know, super stiff and thick. So I'm just adding 1/4 cup of water, keep them loose. And at this point, you want to stir also. You know, you want to stir the grits often too, because you don't want to get them stuck to the bottom of the pan. You want to keep them loose. And mine started to stick in one place a little bit. But even in between doing things, you want to still stir. Believe me, it is worth the wait. Somebody in one of my other videos complained about me tapping the pot, but I'm sorry, that's what I have to do to get the spoon cleaned off. So there we go. I'm going to let that go some more. Okay, 4 more minutes have passed, and just stirring them again. You can add more water if you want to. It depends on how thick you like them or not. But these are the consistency of the grits right now. And at the end, I'm probably going to add a little bit of water. Just a little. But right now, they're simmering. And make sure you, every time you stir, you scrape the bottom of your pan so the grits don't get stuck to the bottom. Alrighty, it has been 5 more minutes. And at this time, I've added in 1.5 tablespoons of margarine or butter, 1/3 cup of water, and a couple of dashes of salt. I say that's about 1/2 teaspoon. And we're going to stir. Can't quite do this with the camera in one hand, but okay, there we go. And get it all stirred in. Till it melts, till the butter or margarine melts. And someone said something on one of my other videos, because I use margarine, and they said, you know, that all the health issues with margarine or whatever, it's not healthy, this, that, and the other. I know it's not healthier than butter. Butter is not super healthy either. But I know people that have used margarine for 80-something years and they're just fine. So you just have to go with what you like more, or, you know, it's your decision. So margarine or butter. So if you use butter, use butter. If you use margarine, use margarine. All right. There we go. It's all melt it in and incorporate it. And those are your Southern Mississippi grits. All right. And if you want, after you get them plated, you can, taste them again. If you want to add a little bit more salt or butter to the top, and stir them, that's fine. Some people put sugar in their grits. I don't. I just like salt and butter in my grits. So, and the milk is the key to the creamy Southern grits. All right, guys, enjoy. If you make them, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know how you like them. And here we go, the end result. Here's the grits plated up. I just put a little bit of extra butter on it. I love, margarine. I love margarine and butter, so I put a little bit more for my taste. I have sausage and toast with grape jam rather. So that's one of my favorite breakfasts. I like it most with bacon. And the sausage is real good. I love it with bacon, but we didn't have bacon this morning. So we have sausage, and my favorite sausage is Bob Evans sage flavored sausage. So, all right, guys. Like I said, if you cook them, let me know below. And I'll see you guys next time on Tracie's Place.